The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the Weymouth Community Access staff or its board of directors. WCA, in compliance with FCC regulations, is prohibited from exercising control over the content of independent member-produced public access programming.
Hello, my name is Tresha Prize and I'm with the Back River Watershed Association, and I'm here with our president Linda D'Angelo, and we are really excited to bring spring to you, springing up through the Back River Watershed. We're very excited to see what starts to spring up in the estuaries, and we're very excited about the herring run. Linda D'Angelo is the president of the Back River Watershed Association and has been taken over from Mary Toomey, who has been a long-standing educator and environmental activist in town. Linda.
Well, thanks, Trish, and I just want to thank Trish so much for putting the production together, and thank Weymouth Local Cable, WETC. It's a great opportunity to talk to the public about this incredible natural heritage that we all share, and the years of restoration for this river and the work that Mary Toomey, our founder, did is something that Weymouth citizens should really celebrate and be inspired by. I think this is a perfect time of year to really bring out the beauty of the Back River and the Back River trails. The Watershed Association began in about the year 2000 under Mary's leadership. But at this time, we'd like to think about continuing Mary's vision and her legacy of restoring the Back River, the estuary, and understanding that stewardship is really the way it should go forward.
Linda, they talk about natural resources, but the Back River estuary and the herring run really needs to be thought of in terms of natural heritage. This is beautiful nature. Step outside, get a little nature therapy, and let's hear about the beginning.
Hi. I'm Linda D'Angelo. I'm president of the Back River Watershed Association. And I'm down here at the beautiful Weymouth's Great Esker Park. This is really where the story of the Back River Watershed Association begins. It's the formation of this beautiful Weymouth Back River going back to the glacial period about 15,000 years ago, when the river was formed and the eskers were formed.
The rich history and formation of the Back River and surrounding lands takes us back 12,000 years ago to the period of the last glacier, when glacier melting resulted in sea level rise and the flooding of coastal lands. The Back River and estuary is unique as a priceless archaeological resource, as one of the greatest remaining in the Boston Harbor Basin. It has been studied by members of the Eastern Massachusetts Archaeological Research Group. This study shows evidence to date that the Back River eskers, some rising 90 feet, are the highest in the country. Sand plains were the homes of at least 8 prehistoric cultures of different Stone Age sites, the earliest dating back to the late Paleo stage about 9,000 years ago.
You know, Linda, hearing that about the prehistoric history of Weymouth, I had no idea, but it does make sense. You look at the estuary and all of the resources that it brings, it's no surprise that people hung out here from prehistoric time. I don't know what happened to the dugout canoe from the New Tufts Library. I'll be looking forward to see where they display that.
Yeah, we're all excited about a lot of the great things happening in Weymouth, and certainly the history of this town is fascinating, and we know that herring played an enormous part as a food protein staple for prehistoric people and for Weymouth settlers. So it has always played an important role in the fisheries, and today we are very proud to still have a healthy Weymouth herring run. But that takes a lot of effort, and we have a great deal of appreciation for our Weymouth herring wardens. Certainly, we understand how important herring have become because our fisheries are suffering with collapsing fish stocks for various reasons, between climate change and illegal fishing, overfishing, and so there's a real serious problem with our fisheries. So the keystone species of herring are really an important reason to protect them. You know, it's all about how the big fish eat the little fish. And so this is why herring have become even more important. So they play a role both economically and environmentally.
You know, Linda, talking about historical accounts, Phil Lofgren, one of the herring run wardens, and I'm sure you all have seen him on the run, told me a passage, I believe it was from Phil, that the Indians would cross rivers on the backs of the fish. They were so dense. And when you think about that, it's really quite remarkable. And Weymouth is very blessed to have 3 dedicated, hard-working herring run wardens who have brought the fish counts of the Weymouth herring run up over the past couple decades. And we are cheering them on and hope everyone can give them the support that they need to continue their work.
Many local residents are surprised to learn that Native American Indian tribes and early European settlers once occupied the lands surrounding Back River. The Eskers served as lookouts, and the river provided fish, game, and transportation. Kitchen medians can be seen on the riverbanks where prehistoric artifacts were discovered. Pilgrims wrote of traveling there on a partially preserved gondola barge found on the riverbank. Weymouth and Hingham militias took part in the second skirmish of the Revolutionary War that occurred between Webb State Park and Grape Island. In 1912, the Navy acquired both sides of the river for military purposes, thus saving the area from development. During World War I and II, ammunition was stored in bunkers on the Hingham side of Back River. Marines patrolled the entire area, and the federal government initiated shipbuilding at the old Hingham shipyard.
Well, there's a lot of history there, Linda, and we can go on and on about that, and we're going to have to get into detail about that in another show. And that's one interesting thing about the Back River and the estuary. There's so much you can learn, whether it's geology or biology or prehistoric life.
The Back River is a truly historic and treasured destination in the South Shore community and beyond. The Back River is distinguished as being one of Massachusetts' special places and a local scenic river and wildlife refuge. It is also designated as an area of critical environmental concern, an ACEC, as it is commonly referred to. The Back River Watershed is part of the Boston Harbor Basin, consisting of approximately 950 acres located largely between the extraordinary coastal communities of Weymouth and Hingham, and serving a population of nearly 80,000 residents.
We are in a protected area in the Back River. We are an ACEC, so let's hear a little bit about that.
Our ACEC designation for Back River recognizes its significant ecosystems, and it's intended to foster appreciation and stewardship of the unique natural and cultural resources of this area. Projects within its boundaries are subject to state agency jurisdiction or regulation. More importantly, projects initiated by an agency require a state permit or are funded by a state agency and reviewed with closer scrutiny to avoid minimum adverse environmental impacts. The ACEC designation provides a framework for citizens, communities, and agencies to work together and ensure the long-term preservation and management of these areas.
So next up is hearing about the Mary's Nature Center.
The Navy began to release parcels of land to the towns of Weymouth and Hingham. In the mid-60s, the town of Weymouth was able to acquire the Great Esker Park, and at this time, Ms. Toomey founded the Great Esker Park Natural Science Center. Her students offered the town's youth an exciting hands-on free summer nature program exploring earth sciences. Ms. Toomey often remarked, "Great Esker Park is a piece of land valuable to every American citizen." I just wanted to, again, acknowledge Mary Toomey's work. You know, she had a great quote about Great Esker Park, and I'd like to read it properly. So she writes, "Truly, Great Esker Park is a piece of land valuable to every American citizen for its history, its beauty, and its completely unspoiled nature." She was a teacher, so this is important. "It is a huge outdoor classroom where students of all ages can learn firsthand botany, geology, archaeology, marine biology, oceanography, fish migration, preservation of wildlife, and appreciation of nature in general." And this is the attitude, I think, that we want to bring to the next generation of people. It's an inspirational story, and I know that we can continue Mary's legacy. Of course, Mary was awarded and acknowledged by many great institutions. Someday we'll talk a little bit more about those
We can do
awards.
a whole show on Mary Toomey.
Thank you. The success of the Great Esker Park Natural Science Center and Mary Toomey's drive to save beautiful Great Esker Park attracted the attention of Dr. Mary Sears. She was a commander in the United States Naval Reserves and leading oceanographer of the famed Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution. In 1971, Dr. Sears came to Weymouth to meet Miss Toomey and asked her to come down to Woods Hole to learn about the value of the Back River and its estuary. Miss Toomey said yes, and their amazing and successful collaboration began with 3 goals: to preserve the Back River and its surrounding lands, to obtain all available lots abutting the river, identify and clean up pollution, and restore the fisheries in the Weymouth herring run. The Back River estuary also supports the Weymouth herring run, which is one of Massachusetts' largest and most productive herring runs. River herring are 2 species, alewife and blueback. They play a vital role sustaining and restoring our collapsing local and offshore commercial and recreation New England fisheries. These fisheries are impacted by overfishing, bycatch, illegal fishing, and climate change, which is affecting ecosystems worldwide. Historically, river herring was a staple protein for prehistoric people, Native Americans, and early settlers. Today, their importance cannot be overstated both environmentally and economically. River herring are protected by law and are recognized as the keystone species supporting the marine food web that feed many of our favorite fish like haddock, cod, bluefin tuna, and other wildlife. Here in Weymouth, it is truly a great spectacle and natural wonder when the herring are in at Weymouth, making their amazing annual pilgrimage from the Atlantic Ocean each spring, swimming upstream through Jackson Square to spawn at Whitman's Pond, their ancestral home. These small gray fish number in thousands, and their passage is made safer with the work and care of our dedicated herring wardens.
We're on to my favorite topic, the Weymouth Herring Run. We are very excited to bring to you the Weymouth Herring Run this year, and we're hoping that we can bring it to you as events unfold when they enter the estuary, as they hit the ladders, make their way up into the pond, and you can even see them spawning around the shores of Whitman's Pond. Here we have the Jackson Square ladders. This is the base of the herring run, and we can see this is right by Nico's, Dunkin' Donuts, Jackson Square Tavern. It's all about the water for the herring run, and it's amazing when you watch them going up these ladders. They'll start going up a ladder, they'll fall back down, and the perseverance and the ambition is absolutely remarkable. Standing at Jackson Square, it's very soothing to listen to the music of the water as it goes down the ladders, and it just gets you in touch with the cadence of nature. And to get that inspiration every spring, I think is remarkable.
It really is, and I think that, for whatever reason, that the herring want to come to the ancestral home at Whitman's Pond, and of course years ago, the herring went all the way up to Great Pond. And who knows, maybe someday there could be a dam removal project. We could hope for that so that we could expand the spawning grounds for Weymouth herring to Great Pond.
Here we have a picture of the ladders at the Karsten building. This is the second kind of major set of ladders. And this is over by Iron Hill. A beautiful part of the herring run, and it's kind of enclosed with some interesting tree canopy. So it's a really favorite spot to watch some night heron as they go fishing, as the herring are making the way up through that set of ladders. It really is quite a remarkable feat.
Well, the whole ecosystem in the Weymouth Back River is fantastic. We have over 30 native species of finfish. There are all kinds of shellfish available. There are sweet clams and oysters, but these have to be monitored, these fisheries, because of contamination. And that's where the Back River Watershed Association comes in.
It can seem like it's a never-ending job, but if we focus just on the nature of this and just inspire people to kind of see what's there, I'm hoping that will motivate them. Right. Here we are at the Iron Hill ladders. This is an interesting set of ladders because we saw the waterfall next to it earlier. And here is a part of the run going into Whitman's Pond. There's an interesting statistic that I heard from Phil recently that I didn't know all these years. I did not know that Whitman's Pond per acre is one of the most productive spawning grounds, which makes Whitman's Pond itself most valuable to the Atlantic marine fisheries.
Well, it's really important that our town is trying to preserve Whitman's Pond. I know that there is a very important working group that continues to find ways to rid the pond of the plague of these invasive weeds.
They do get in the way, and they do affect the oxygenation of the pond. There's a whole science to this that we're hoping we'll have an opportunity to bring to you to kind of understand why we consider this so fragile at times. But we are very fortunate that Mayor Headland and the town has focused on taking care of the herring run and our watershed. So we just want to thank the current administration, the prior administrations, former Mayor Kay,
yes,
formed the working group. So there is an understanding of this importance,
right?
And that gives me hope.
Certainly the Division of Marine Fisheries has been a big help in Massachusetts state legislators, helping us with projects to restore Back River. And I also want to acknowledge Representative James Murphy through the years, who has really helped the Back River Watershed Association in restoring projects as well. And so we really are appreciative of all of the help that we get through our officials, and of course private agencies and educational institutions and just individuals. So it's really all of us pulling together for a beautiful outcome.
We are very excited to bring spring to you in Weymouth and in the Back River Watershed Association. We'll work towards bringing these images to you. We have all sorts of ideas to get people involved with this, don't we?
Sure.
Everything from, photo. We'd love to see the photos. We have some fabulous nature photographers in Weymouth, hoping they can come on and show us their spots for seeing some birds. We should have a little kind of contest on when the herring are going to come in.
That's a great idea.
They come up through the estuary. I know Phil always says that it kind of varies on when they come, and that's an interesting thing. They're a bit particular, aren't they?
Yeah, the water temperature, I believe, has to be somewhere around 55 degrees or so before they'll come. They are interesting little creatures.
One thing we're really happy that WETC is here. We're just regular folks like you with a passion for our natural heritage. So we're really happy to bring this to you. We might not be as polished, but our passion is there.
There's so much work to be done, and it's all so interesting. You know, we're looking at a water monitoring program, water testing. So we need, you know, participation and good stewards. So from all around this area, let your friends and family know how to contact us. And so we look forward to those days going forward and continuing the restorative work. That's the legacy of Mary Toomey.
It's all about the water, isn't it?
Sure is.
Here's a trivia question for you. Where's the only waterfall in Weymouth? Although I know you know this answer, but I'll ask you guys that question. This winter time, you saw a picture over at the Iron Hill Dam. There's a spectacular waterfall there. And just the sights and sounds of just standing on that platform is very soothing and calming. So we're really hoping that we can bring you all these great spots to get out and about this spring and see the beautiful, gorgeous nature of Weymouth.
Thanks, Trish.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.